It's fall in Grand Rapids, and while spooky season might be fun for Halloween, the last thing you want if you're trying to sell is buyers being spooked by your home. I'm Kevin Yoder, team leader of Yoder Real Estate at LPT Realty, and today I'm sharing with you three small things that can scare buyers away and how to fix them before they can hurt your sale. The first thing, lingering odors. First impressions are indeed lasting ones. And when you walk into a home, the smell that hits the buyer in the face is going to be a lasting one. Here are some culprits for lingering odors. I would say the strongest one and probably the most damaging one would be cat urine. There's a home that has a cat and there's urine, whether it's in a cat litter box or this is where it's particularly bad. If it has stained the carpet and the urine has seeped through into the hardwood floors, it's hard to remove that. Now, there are ways to get rid of it, but it's really difficult. The second one would be cigarette smoke. Cigarette smoke combined with cat urine, and we may as well just not even try to sell the home. Those are the two most damaging smells. And the problem with those two is that the one living there likely doesn't even smell it. And so if you have these things, and the third, less damaging would be odors from last night's dinner, for example. If you made something really strong and pungent, those lingering smells last. And of course, mildew or mold smells. Those are the real four culprits, the most damaging ones being cat urine and cigarette smoke. So if you have any of those things going on, your agent really should be giving you tips and tools on how to remedy because smell is a very strong, powerful scent sense that we have. It actually is enough to trigger memories from 30, 40, 50, and even 60 years ago. So, with that in mind, if a buyer walks in the door and they have a negative association with one of those smells, I think a lot of people have negative associations with cigarette smoke and cat urine. It's best to remedy it and get it taken care of up front because it's really difficult to come back from that, especially if a buyer's walking in the front door and it hits them right in the face. So some ways to remedy that would be for cigarette smoke, open all the windows up. And I would actually recommend that you have someone come in and do a professional cleaning on that one. It's difficult to do, but I've actually had sellers in that situation and they've had their homes repainted. They use Kills primer, open the windows up, have a deep cleaning, clean the carpets, and leave those windows open for as long as you possibly can. Cat urine stuff, really hard, but you can get the carpet out and try to get someone to clean those hardwood floors. Make sure you're cleaning your HVAC filters, air purifiers, and again, opening windows. And I do not recommend trying to mask over these smells because it'll actually just make it worse. It's best to actually do the deep cleaning first. Spooky thing that scare buyers away, number two, is these small maintenance repairs. We call them deferred maintenance items. These are items that really should have been done. Now, this is important to know this before you even listed your property. Now, I have met with hundreds, maybe even into the thousands of sellers that because homes accumulate maintenance over the years. One thing stacks to another thing, and each and every year there might be three or four things that come up that just got deferred. They kick the can down the road. The problem with that is that they add up. And now, when a buyer walks through, like chipping paint or cracked glass or windows not working, uh, chimney issues, the list goes on, even dirty windows or dirty entryways. These are all things that are minor individually speaking. In other words, someone's not going to not buy your home because of your broken, maybe one of your panes is broken in your glass, or maybe there's a stain on the carpet in one of the bedrooms. Individually or singularly, that's not going to be a challenge. But when you start to stack those up, and let's say it turns into, say, 15 or 20 of these small ones, well, that turns into a big deal for a buyer. Deferred maintenance as a buyer think, gosh, like what else is going on here? Or even if there's a lot of items in the basement that just should be remedied, or there's wiring that's hanging down, or maybe there's some poor lighting. The list goes on. We could spend an hour talking about this one alone, but the best thing to do here when it comes to deferred maintenance, these small things to not scare buyers away, especially at the point of inspections. But they do often find these during the actual showing themselves when they're walking through the first time because they see this, they see that, and it ends up being subconscious, meaning they're not exactly sure. There's something about this home that I didn't quite like, but I can't put my finger on it. That's because there's a bunch of little things and they get the overall feeling. The feeling, this is a sense that there's something going on here that I don't quite appreciate. So get in front of these items, do a pre inspection for your home, and have a handyman or a contractor come out, or do them yourself if it's not something that you need a license to do, like electrical, and knock them out up front so that a buyer coming through, they're not going to have reasons to not want to move forward with your home. And we don't want to give them a bunch of ammunition on the front end, because when they walk through the door, we want it represented the same way that they saw it online in that same condition, because they're here for a reason. They fell in love with it on the internet, online, and now the physical representation as they're walking through the door needs to match that expectation that they saw online. The third thing that can scare buyers away is dark rooms. Now, this is something that most people don't think about. When I'm walking through a home with a seller, you'll often find me walking up and just going like this to the shades. And they're like, "What are you doing?" It's because it's too dark, and they want to keep them closed for a myriad of reasons. I think one of them is security and feeling like if they're closed, people can't peek in. The other one might be because it helps keep the cold out and the warm air in. And I will share this with you this way. This is just for a moment in time. Open those blinds up, get the lights on, and make sure that all the bulbs in the light fixtures are on and working, and each space is the brightest as possible. This type of thing is one of those things that we just don't naturally know. But dark spaces can feel cold, they can feel small, and to fit the theme of this video, they can feel creepy. So, what helps sell a home? A home that is bright, a home that is airy, a home when they walk in, it feels crisp and they can see in every corner. What hurts a home sale is when a buyer walks in and they start to walk around and it's too dark to actually see in there. The blinds are all closed. The sliders have blinds on them. Those are all closed as well. So for the moment, even though there are a couple reasons why you might want to do that, remember that if you do this right and the smells aren't hitting the buyer in the face and there's not deferred maintenance and the home is light and bright, this should be a short-lived experience for you, meaning you shouldn't be on the market forever, and you're not going to end up scaring these buyers away because you've got everything dialed in. Now, none of these things take much time or money, but they can make a huge difference in how buyers feel. This is again the point here. They feel about your home as they're walking through. So if you're thinking about selling this spooky season, let's make sure your home is putting its best foot forward with no spooky surprises. Reach out if you want help getting started. My contact information is below.